serve well. Perhaps there is hope for you yet.
A war band captured and executed. This truth helps balance the scales. Vikings also died horribly, also became anonymous. But pay attention. The history books record far more about local women being captured, sold, and traded because that was the great currency of the era. Those male bodies in the pit are a slap in the face to the romantic imagination. But those women, they were the flowing bank. So why did the victors choose women as the core spoils of war? Because of economics, because of politics, because of biology in its coldest form, labor, reproduction, and calculated marriage. Those who could weave created immediate value. Those who could bear children created long-term value. New land with residents who belong to us. Does that sound inhuman? Good. That is the true language of a world that placed silver on the scales of morality. And don't think this was a Viking monopoly. Rome did it, the Arabs did it, the steppe did it, every empire that ever opened a map with an arrowhead did it. The difference is in Northern Europe, we have the chronicles, the sagas, and the ship graves rich enough in artifacts that we can't pretend we don't know. Now let's fast forward through the details that videos often miss. Those silver figures weren't just a price, they were the nervous system of an entire sea. 12 to 20 ounces for a healthy woman in Dublin was equivalent to a small farm's entire year of work. The slave ships ran on the seasonal winds, collect cargo in the summer, sell in the southern markets in winter. The human not cargo routes crossed Scandinavia, went down rivers to the slave hubs of the Caspian and the Levant. Letters and early bills of exchange went with them, ensuring that goods arriving in one port were paid for in another. From the 9th to 11th centuries, Europe's economy was bound by a three-legged stool: silver, fur, and people. You might not remember all the place names, but remember this. Human trafficking was the load-bearing architecture of an entire era. And to avoid flattening these women into a simple victim poster, let's listen to the small resistances the texts rarely detail. Many women kept their skills weaving, dyeing, healing to protect each other in the master's house, to bargain for margins of survival, to protect their children from being sold off next. Some used silence like Melkorka, some used a knife like Ebba, some escaped, unrecorded because no one wanted to record it. Survival is also a form of victory, just one without trumpets. Are you still here? Type "still listening" if you haven't given up, because this part needs a viewer patient enough to look straight at it. War doesn't end when the victor sails away. It continues in a strange kitchen, on a cold bed, in a lullaby sung in a language the child doesn't understand. It continues in the genes when relatives hundreds of years later look in the mirror and don't know why they look like two continents at once. It continues in the museum, where tourists take photos of a dragon prow, not knowing that under the floor is the story of a woman for whom no one lights a candle. Let's go back to each blade, so they don't just stick in the meaningless dark. Atar teaches us that a ledger can kill a name faster than a sword. Melkorka teaches us that silence is the language of last resort. Coldingham teaches us that a body can be destroyed so the soul can't be occupied. Canterbury teaches us that even violence knows calculus, every hostage has a price. Dumbarton teaches us that thirst can topple a kingdom without a siege engine. Iceland teaches us a new nation can grow from stolen seeds. Oseberg teaches us that even the most beautiful grave can be a property deed. So what does history owe them? It owes them a name. It owes them the justice of calling it what it was. Spoils of war is how the powerful sanitize the word slave. It owes them the unvarnished truth. If you make history content, don't give your audience sugar and call it knowledge. Point out the human market right next to the legendary doc. Put the chronicle entry on the screen and let the empty space after the period choke the throat. Let the viewer be startled by the numbers that seem beautiful, the length of the ship, the year of the burial, the number of sacrificed horses. All of it is just a frame hiding the face of an exiled woman. Don't think this is over. Every time a movie glorifies a victor without mentioning the people taken, we are co-signing that invoice with someone else's heart. Every time a folk song evokes the long, joyous night without asking who disappeared the next morning, we are adding a soundtrack to the slave block. The truth is hard to hear. but it's the only thing that can break the spell of romanticizing violence. If you've followed this far, you've just walked a road full of salt spray, black ash, and the groaning of ships. Tell me where you're watching from, so this history is no longer aimless. And if you want stories like this to survive the algorithm that prefers shiny things, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with a friend who likes their truth uncut. Next video, we will follow the trail of silver from the Dublin market to the rivers of the East to see how that currency built empires and burned souls.